I think we're live. I think we are. All right. Thanks everyone for staying on with us. Hopefully you had a really good afternoon looking at I don't actually know if we're live or not, but hopefully you had a good afternoon learning a bit about or from some very interesting people.
Yeah, we spoke to Callum, that was live earlier today. We spoke about accelerators, the things to look at before jumping headfirst into an accelerator. And then we had a really good chat about SaaS pricing structure, and that's been useful for us because we put our pricing page up. We talked about that yesterday. So that was good stuff to build on. And then I had a good old chat with Nicole, and we talked about early stage founders and the realities of actually exactly what Ben is going through right now, the realities of business and family life and how they collide. So that was a really great chat with Nicole.
They do often collide.
They do often collide. So yeah, we're doing our kind of end of the day check-in a little early, but just to kind of update us all. So Ben, what were you looking to do this afternoon, and how did it go?
Cool. Yeah, all good. I've still got a couple more hours to go, I suspect, just to put myself in a good position for tomorrow. But all looking good. You can basically now create an update, you can view an update, you can edit an update, you can delete an update, and you can do the same for rooms, update, add, delete, and view, and then the same for members as well, in a basic level. So you're not yet linking members to rooms, you're not yet adding rich content to an update, but they at least have a home now, and it's all on the server, so if you log into the dashboard, you'll at least see
seeing it
these
now.
sections now, and just kind of the basic sort of framework that is in place for that, and sets the groundwork.
Cool. Any problems you run into?
No, nothing major. No, I think it was. It's often the case that as I was saying at lunchtime, I think that the important act of actually working out the database structure essentially was kind of really key in thinking about how these things interrelate with each other and interact with each other. Once that decision was made, sort of by 10 o'clock this morning, everything sort of follows suit from there. So there were no surprises in that sense. Just been tidying up a few little bits of details and a few things like that. So I've already, for example, put in some copy, just some really basic stuff, but some, letting people know that when they create their updates, they select their room, but it makes it clear that you'll have the opportunity to add some further content and body to this in the next screen. And don't worry, no updates ever get published until you say so. So just really, really tiny. You'll probably want to change the copy later. But just starting to make it a bit more human now, and it be less of just a platform that lets you add things. It actually feels a bit more like a platform.
Cool.
Stuff, at least.
I don't know if you'd seen my kind of post on the product. Oh, you saw. I've been in calls all afternoon. What are you then looking to get done the rest of this evening if you're saying you need just a few more hours? Is it really just kind of tidying up stuff, or is there something specific that you're looking to get started on?
I need to get team members is not yet in place, the ability to add team members and then decide which rooms they can actually, or which companies, they can actually access, because you can add more than one company. You might, should you need to.
All right, okay.
Which I suppose actually thinking about it isn't something we've spoken about, but yes.
Okay.
In fact, is that baked into the pricing? How many companies you can
have? No. The assumption I think was that you just have one. It would be one company.
I mean, it's a different kind of scenario, but I've added it. So
sure.
If you want to factor that in,
a different brand,
one company on each of the two smaller plans, and then the bigger plan you can have 3 or something, and then from there onwards it becomes a more of an enterprise sort of setup. Thinking about it, gone off on a tangent slightly, but for years now with our accountants that I've used for various businesses, it's often been them that has given me access to their accounting package. The accounting package I want to use, it's an Edinburgh-based tool actually, but it's often been.
They'll be coming in tomorrow.
They will be in person.
So I wonder whether you could, in theory, get investors or VC firms, whatever, to have a plan and then sort of allocate company to be owned by a particular startup. Anyway.
Yeah, we had thought about that a while back, but really just assumed that would be like way in the future. But if the functionality at least is possible to to get in there and it's relatively simple for you to do, then it just gives us more options to experiment with, right?
Well, it's done. That's already there.
Sweet.
So, in terms of what I need to do for the rest of the day is going back off the tangent, is team members, ability to add them, and then be able to, for the account owner to decide which of the companies they can actually access.
Sure.
And I guess I just want to just tidy up or add as much extra stuff I can to the views I've already created.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that you can create a room, you can create a member, but you can't yet link the two together.
Sure.
So it would make a lot of sense just to get that basic form in place. But
Cool.
really what I want to do tomorrow is I think I'm going to focus less on the emailing side of it, which I think is what I had planned, and the pixel tracking and the click opening and all that sort of stuff. I think I might leave that till Thursday. I want to work on the content aspect tomorrow, the building and updates. And the way I'm thinking it's going to work is that both building an email and building a room, or building an update, which obviously has an email aspect, and building a room, layout, grid, or whatever, I'm thinking are going to use the same sort of mechanics and framework.
Okay, cool.
Albeit, we might restrict some of the component types that you can use in an update to, just image and video, or image and text, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think there's some efficiencies there, which might mean we can kill two birds with one stone.
Cool. That's awesome. That's really exciting. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but we actually had our first revenue today. So someone actually paid us, which is great.
Does that mean we can quit early?
Yeah, we can quit early. Yeah, exactly. Revenue in a day and a half.
About mid-afternoon, and Gal was like, "Well, that's it. That's it.
We're done." Yep.
Well, I hate wastage. What's the point?
exactly.
You just described really cool features, Ben.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we should have
money
said
back
that
guarantee.
beforehand.
We shouldn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. But that was exciting.
We've still got to earn it for sure.
Yeah. And for anybody watching, it's $50 for 50% off for lifetime, but that expires tonight because tomorrow it goes up. If you want to support us and you think what we're building is pretty cool, you like what you hear from Ben just now, get on it. Briefingroom.co.
$50 is a no-brainer. I mean, it's a one-off cost, and you're not paying 50% for that. I mean,
exactly.
It's not like I'm the person who built it.
It's literally. I hope it is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole point. It's important that we see some revenue through this, and to prove that there's an interest. And this is should be a really low friction way of having both parties get what they need out of this. Yeah.
Cool. Is there anything that you're kind of waiting on from us, from the product point of view?
I guess especially, Ben, you thinking about moving from the email aspect of things now to the building side of things tomorrow. Do you think there's anything you'll need from us?
Copy or...
It's one of those tricky things in a scoping / rollout sort of or implementation and development sort of process where I almost don't want anything from you specific. I almost want to stop you from giving me information.
Okay.
That's fine.
Because I do and I don't. I think it's one where I need you to play a controlled sort of game here, and where there are like mission critical things that you haven't told me yet, that you think like for example with the layout you did, the wireframe you did a few minutes ago.
Sure.
One of the things that we don't want to happen now is for you to introduce things that I hadn't planned.
Exactly.
That's a good problem to have, I suppose, because it might mean that we sort of dismiss one idea for another one. And,
it's inefficient.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But with just a couple of days left, like adding more information, like I'm planning next days ahead in my mind.
Sure.
So I guess, yes, if there is mission critical stuff that you think, I haven't conveyed that to Ben yet, or there's a type of widget that would be really useful, then I need it now.
Yeah.
So what about
planning ahead?
What about the inverse of that though? What about not instead of us giving you something that you're then going to work with? What about, is there anything you want us to sweep up behind? So you were talking about the copy that's already here. Is it useful for us to then have a look at that?
No, I mean I think the way I'm planning this is that Friday. So think about it this way: what I don't want in a compacted time frame like this is feedback every half an hour or every 2 hours or even every day, because I don't have time to necessarily react as quickly as that.
Sure.
And that's hopefully good for you guys. That means you don't have to rush to get me feedback. I'm earmarking Friday as the day where we just add a bit more extra finesse. Hopefully, it's a buffer day where we just have some extra time to add a bit more bells and whistles.
Yeah.
But also feedback as well. So I suppose just bear in mind that by the end of play Thursday, that would really be the ideal point for you to have collected any
All the
feedback.
Okay.
Cool.
So that we can make decisions, critical decisions, probably on Friday morning. Go, okay, we've got 200 pieces of feedback. Which are the top 10,
Yeah.
for example?
And
copy would be a
good one. Yeah.
type
Sure.
of feedback to have at that point. As
that's
well.
great. So that's really clear, like where the timelines are for you needing that. And we're going to be doing quite a lot of the collection tomorrow afternoon. We have our live teardown,
So
6:30
the
tomorrow.
with people that I think the firm that you were talking about was rhymes with Gree Agent.
That's the one.
Oh, that's the one.
You could even just call them.
Free Agent. Yeah.
We're
So
talking about Free Agent, and Free Agent are going to be in and active in our teardown, so they're going to help us have a look at the product live tomorrow. But I just wondered with that, so they're going to be joined by 2 others as well. I wondered if there's any particular how you would like that feedback.
yeah.
What's the most useful method of delivery?
In terms of the feedback,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should
I
we-
think it
yeah.
still needs to slot into end of Thursday, Friday morning, sort of packaged up stuff.
Yep.
With obviously a fair amount of whatever you think is best.
Articulating
so
it,
if
yeah.
you feel there's stuff coming through that is, whoa, we haven't thought about that, we better get that to Ben quickly because that's going to fundamentally change what we need to do.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah, so we can collect
pass that to me,
it, we
but
can weight
otherwise it
it.
should be Thursday afternoon.
Okay.
Evening, sorry.
Okay. So we'll be watching what they do. We'll be noting that down. Any kind of mission critical, like, oh crap, that's really just not worth spending any more time on. We let you know, but otherwise it's collated and it's organized in a way that makes sense to you for Thursday evening.
What time are they doing it tomorrow again?
6:30. So in about 24 hours. Yeah.
Okay.
24
So-
hours, 15 minutes.
Yeah, so almost certainly they're going to have like hopefully a working, quite robust working version, but possibly a draft version of the room builder and
Sweet.
Yeah, that's great.
possibly the update builder as well.
Okay.
So I guess that's good. It's good that they see that, but it's going to be difficult to know until that point as to know how far it is developed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, that's exciting. You sound jazzed.
Yeah, no, it's coming together. It's good. Yeah, looking good.
Okay. All right. Cool. How's your day been?
So yeah, quick roundup of what I've been up to. I have started creating a mill and oaks. We were demonstrating that this afternoon. So using a tool to describe what were the key decisions, what were the key stages that we got to on each day. And I cannot believe that we're only closing out day 2.
Yep.
I feel like we've maybe been doing this for a month already.
Yep.
So I'm going to be capturing that, and already that's proven useful for people who are just jumping in and out of Slack and wanting to know. Today, for instance, we recognised that we hadn't really described the whole of the team and who everybody was and what their backgrounds were. So it's just going to be a one-stop shop for all of the kind of zero to revenue side of who are you guys, what is the product you're building, tell us more about Briefing Room. And that's
Cool.
what I've started putting together.
Okay. Cool. Rest of the night or rest of the evening into tomorrow.
So for me, the rest of today is a wrap up on collating everything else that we have done today, checking all the segments for YouTube, so making sure that all of those lives that went out, we get them shared again for our American audience. And then going into tomorrow, I want a really definitive plan of this is what I need for Product Hunt launch. These are the key decisions that we need to make.
Okay. Cool. For me, I've been actually having quite a few conversations this afternoon. Some speaking to some really interesting people. Prepared that thing for Ben, really just as a sense check, just to make sure that you didn't look at that and say, holy crap, I didn't realize we were doing X, Y, and Z. Bearing in mind that the things that I put in there aren't necessarily expected to be delivered. It's more of just as a vision. That's what kind of makes sense. And then also I'm working on this accelerator outreach, trying to figure out a way of doing, of coming up with a way of like articulating a coupon code for accelerators to provide to their portfolios that's customized to them, but obviously not at all to do with anything that you're doing, Ben. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do that without any code, or at least how to fake it, like to figure out a way of having a field for them to put in a code that then gets them to a specific Stripe button. So, which I think I can figure out how to do that, but that's one of the things that I've been working on, and then I've done a really, really rough run through of the kind of copy that I'm going to be using.
Can I pause it? I've already built that for you. So if you create a coupon in Stripe, let's just say for argument's sake, 50% off any plan for the first 6 months, right?
Okay.
If you then, I'm going to sync that coupon once it's been created to the server, to the database.
Okay.
It stores a local copy. If that coupon is then included on the pricing page with the question mark coupon equals and then whatever the code of the coupon is.
Yep.
As long as it's a valid coupon, the pricing page will detect it. It will remove the yearly option because the yearly option is already discounted, so it doesn't make sense to have discounts off a discount. And also it simplifies it. It will change the pricing that you see based on the discount, so 50%, it will change them and then put the original price underneath. And if you then click, I want that plan, it will bypass any trial and ask for card details straight away.
It's like he's a pro at launching on AppSumo.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's all kind of working.
Yeah, obviously test it first because I haven't tested it yet. But,
Okay, I will go in and play around and try not to break things. That's amazing.
It is.
Sweet. Okay, well thanks.
So
you made my job
build
easier.
virality into your products, guys.
Yeah, it gets better. No, I don't know about that. Okay, well, cool. Thank you so much, Ben. We'll let you go get off and also spend some family time and check in with you maybe one more time just for the podcast. But other than that, have a great evening.
Will do. Cool.
All right. Okay. See ya.
Bye.
So that's quite exciting.
That's really exciting.
My job's a lot easier. So I guess the other thing that we just wanted to go over is everything that's happened today.
Yeah.
And so that people who might be just watching now, all of the stuff that we're going to talk through just now has already been done. It's already on YouTube. It's being categorized by Lizzie. So some of the titles, the live streaming software that we use sometimes messes up the title. So we're correcting it. And it's also important to know that we're only on day 2. So what happened today?
So we started the day already with a product that we could use and test, which was fab. So during our stand-up, we just heard from Ben about what he was aiming to do for the day, and he didn't have any challenges that he thought were going to really bother him with building the product, and we heard that went pretty smoothly for him today, which was great. So this morning we did quite a lot of silent work. We had people working along with us, a lot of remote working and clicking clacking of keyboards. But for you and I think we got done some lead generation work, finishing off the scheduling, reaching out to our speakers so that they can share with their networks when they go live with the Zero to Revenue Challenge. And then we kind of jumped into an afternoon full of talks. I think we had some really good value talks. Definitely on Slack, there's been great discussions. Some things people have brought up are what actually are customer development interviews, how do they work, how could you maybe turn them into sales calls, when is it right to do that or not. So there've been kind of good discussions off the back of these. But we started with you chatting with Bruce, didn't you?
Yeah. So I had chatted with Bruce about a whole range of things. It was a great chat. Bruce Walker of FutureX. We talked about how ridiculously young he is. I know I mentioned that before. It just still astounds me of what he's been able to do in so little time. We talked about ecosystems and why ecosystems are important and important to engage with. We talked about mindset and learning from other founders and other people going through these similar types of challenges. So that was a really interesting conversation. Then I then spoke with Elle Tucker from Gang Hut. A really interesting conversation for anybody interested in building double-sided markets or marketplaces. She runs a PR and marketing agency that is mission-driven and also entirely just based around those companies. So she's been doing it for a while. So she's seen a lot of marketplace and double-sided marketplace companies come and go. And we also got into detail about what actually makes what's the highest reason for a marketplace to actually fail. And it might be a little bit more surprising than you might think. So definitely go and take a look at that one.
And kudos to Elle, and probably no surprise because of the remit that she covers, but she's actually blown up our Twitter. It's amazing.
Yes, exactly.
3 tweets galore for Elle and her talk. So we really appreciated that.
That's great.
And then I had a chat with Pooja, who is the founder and CEO of Cogni Health, and we had a really good discussion about How do you go about finding co-founders in the early days? What kind of discussions do you have to have? And what if those co-founders are friends? How does that relationship develop? And what does the working relationship look like? And then we got a little bit stuck in a little bit of a geeky way to processes. So at what stage of your business development or product development do different processes work? And when is over-processing a risk because you just need to get stuff done? Or when is, hey guys, we're actually scaling this and we have nothing written down, we need to sort this out. So that was a really good discussion to catch if you missed it.
And then Callum came in, and I got to geek out with him for about 40 minutes, talking about everything of different types of accelerators, what's the difference between an accelerator and an incubator. We talked about like the so-called free accelerators that maybe are asking for equity but aren't investing any money. What does he think about that? How should you go about evaluating an accelerator and determining whether or not it's right for your business? We talked about the differences between equity rounds and convertible note rounds. We talked about what pre-seed means and what the definition, like what does good look like when you are a very, very early stage founder and you're talking to what often is your very first institutional, if you want to call it that, interaction. That's with a multi investment backed accelerator. That was really interesting. And then I actually got to hang out with Callum afterwards to do a little customer interview of my own because he runs an accelerator, and so we want to reach out. We want to reach out to accelerators. So I was peppering him with questions about how he would react getting different types of offers or emails for briefing room. So I'll probably be testing him out with a couple of those ideas as well. A little bit of test
copy. What I would say about Callum, so that's Callum Forsyth, CEO of Seed House. I think what was brilliant about that conversation that you had was that it's really accessible if you are a really early stage founder and you don't know what those terms mean. Callum does a really good job of breaking them down and saying, well, this is maybe how they're understood, but this is how I think they should. But similarly, if you've been in and around for a long time, I think it's great to be challenged by his perception of, well, should we actually be using these terms in that way?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Really, really interesting chat.
And then I got into one of the tools that we've been using, Milanote, and I just did a quick intro to how we've been using it this week and how it's kind of been useful for a project that has many, many layers and lots of depth. And for something like, I love using Trello, for instance, but I find that if you use Trello, you end up wanting to create another board, and another board, and another board, and they're not necessarily as easy to link as the way you want to in a really visual way, and that's how I find Milanote super beneficial. So I did a run through of what we kind of built on it so far, only 2 days, but we've done quite a lot of work. So that was things like our competitor analysis we had already used for that, and we did the business model canvas on Milanote as well. So there's the example up there. And with our resources, we will be popping them up on our Slack community so you can have access to them, and you can use them as templates if you want to kind of build upon them for your own use.
Cool. I then spoke with Siobhan Clark from episode 1, a venture capital firm based down in London. So we were talking about go-to-market strategy and market opportunity and why how they are two different things. But a lot of times, early-stage founders either haven't really thought through that or don't recognize the distinction. So we talked about why that's really important. We also talked about some interesting things that VC firms are doing and investors are doing to try and increase representation in the types of founders that they go for. Because a lot of founders that are backed by VC firms look and sound a lot like me. And so what are different firms doing in order to try and make sure that's not the case anymore, right?
Are they doing enough?
Exactly.
Are they actually behaving in the way that they're speaking about, or are they just talking the talk?
So Siobhan had some really good insights, but also she name-checked some really interesting organizations. So if you are interested in that kind of, in those kind of resources, it's definitely an interesting talk. And then we heard from Martin Stewart from CoBloom, a little bit about SaaS pricing strategy, and we kind of scratched the surface in terms of how to go about pricing your SaaS product. The CoBloom folks have written a really, really good article that we've posted on the resources channel, and we will add to our resource library when we build it. And it goes through pretty much every type of model under the sun. And also it goes into some of the psychology of how to price things. So pricing it at $20.99 or $19.99, $19.97. So there are a lot of, I kind of roll my eyes, but then whenever you read it, there's like all this data to show that it actually works. Yeah. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you head over to our resources channel, you'll be able to see the CoBloom article, and that's really interesting as well.
And you can definitely check out our conversation from last night, I think it was. It's all going to blend now, where we had a very silly discussion about, well, which point after the pound mark, which number of pennies is the right number of pennies, and we couldn't get it right.
I think we initially had settled. We were like, it's going to be $20, and then $36.74 or 74 cents, and it's going to be $75.99, and it was a bit ridiculous. We thankfully
we cleared that up.
And
so then I caught up with Nicole Blythe, and Nicole is founder of Relocate Guru, and we had a really good, honest chat about the things that she wished she'd known before she became a founder, before she started her own business, and how she started to kind of redefine what success looks like, because she's wanting to really feel balanced and grounded and like she's spending her time the way that she wants to spend her time. So definitely a really good talk to catch up on. If you're thinking about diving into running your own business, I think she says that, word of warning, she definitely tells the truth, but she also tells you why she's still stuck with it. It's a really good talk to catch up with.
I've just read Fabs's note. Yes, yeah, Fabs. So Fabs has said, I think you guys have forgotten that you forgot that you got revenue as your achievement today, or am I more excited about revenue than you? No, you're not more excited about revenue than us. And we did get our revenue.
We should have slotted that in. That was about the 2 o'clock mark.
Yeah, exactly. We should have put it on the calendar.
Thanks, Fabs.
Thanks, Fabs. So yeah, we are pretty excited by it, but now now it's too low. So now we have to get more. So anybody else who wants to help us feel really good tonight can increase that by just the click of a button.
And genuinely, go ahead and catch up on the last, only 20 minutes ago now, where Ben described the work that he has got through today and what the product will look like even by tomorrow. I think the functionality, so we've got a live teardown tomorrow, which is scary biscuits.
Yeah.
That terrifies me.
But I'm
live teardown,
about
it's going to be great. But from Ben's, what's the word? The improvements that he has made.
Yeah. Progress.
The progress, thank you. That is the word. I think it's going to be brilliant. So definitely jump on board.
At the beginning of today, you could see this page and you could see dashboard. And now you see all of these things. So that's pretty cool. At 5:30, had a chat with Baptiste Debever over at Feedier. We talked about how he grew his startup's user numbers from 0 to 4,000 users in less than a year. Pretty impressive. We also kind of dug deep into those numbers, like how many of them are paid, how many of them are free. We talked about AppSumo, so if anybody's out there and considering going on AppSumo and just wanted to know what the experience is like, we talked about that as well, which was pretty interesting. So yeah, that was our day.
That's been our day, and actually to put it in perspective, Fabs is completely right. The whole challenge is called Zero to Revenue Challenge, and it's brilliant that we've hit our first revenue, and we want to make that worth the while, make sure that we're providing value for that, and obviously increase it as much as we can over the course of the week. So as a reminder, Gail, how many hours do we have left on this offer now?
We said 24 hours, and we put it up. We sent the email out at around 10 p.m.
Okay.
So I think we're going to give it at least until that time. But frankly, it's whenever we can get the email written and sent out. So I don't know. It'll be sometime tonight. So if you're debating whether or not to support us now or support us later in the evening, look, literally it's click, and there you go. That's it. That's all you need to do.
And the offer is, though, today, $50 for 50% off for life.
For life. And that $50 also counts towards whatever subscription you end up purchasing, and it will also include any kind of free trial that we have as well. So that price, it's still going to be 50% off for life for the rest of the week, but that price is going to go up every day between now and Friday. So get going, get moving.
All right. Is that us? Is that day 2?
That is day 2. So thanks very much for tuning in, folks. We're going to keep working throughout the evening. We probably won't be on camera, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.